When I arrived at Ledcor, I noticed that 100% of the money that Ledcor makes is in the field, and 95% of the hardware and software appeared to be in the offices. So I thought we needed to rebalance things, and the obvious way to do that is to move more technology into the field. If you're using a web-based system, then the nice thing about that is that the updates just arrive in your email, or they arrive in the functionality of the application. And of course, if you're using an app that you downloaded from a place, you regularly get emailed updates, which generally don't cost anything for those. So the industry seems to be working hard to keep you up to date, and it's only when you get a huge change in something that is often driven by consumers that you have to throw stuff out. One of the problems that we have in many industries, including construction, is that in the absence of web-based database type products, which are still fairly new, people are still nervous about the cloud. I've been there for 10 years. It's worked fine for me, but in the absence of that, people have, fine-tuned Excel spreadsheets and Word documents and things like that, which work for them but create silos. And many people don't understand that or don't care that what they've done works great for them and not for anybody else. And the web-based environment is, if you are required to adhere to it, then basically requires you to use the same rules and the same functionality as others. So when you're off sick, on holiday, whatever, other people can find and work with what you've done, which is really important in a business environment. First of all, you need to be able to get the data you need onto your device, drawings, specifications, shop drawings, whatever they are. Then you need to find them, and you need to be able to annotate them. That includes zooming into pieces of large drawings or particular pieces of pages. So you need annotation tools. And then you need to be able to often compare what was in the design to what you're actually seeing. So you need to be able to photograph conditions. You need to be able to assemble the annotated drawings or words and the photographs, add them to instructions, like, what do you want me to do with this? And ideally do that in a database environment, so that when you then assign the item and send it on its way, it's not one of those miscellaneous trillion emails. It actually has a home, and someone else can logically find it there. And then the part of the puzzle that's probably most challenging, but there are applications that have addressed it, is I assign you something. You get it as an email. You may or may not be logged into the application that sent it. You may just want to be lazy and hit the reply button. Who doesn't do that? And so I get a reply from you, but you want the application to also grab that reply automatically in the background, so you don't have to worry about it, and add it to the database, so that so you're not dependent upon that email string to create the history of something that could go on for pages and pages. In any business that involves illustrations, so interior design, architecture, construction, graphic design, if you're trying to do any real work as opposed to looking at work, you're just going to find way too much of your life taken up by expanding to that corner on a small screen and losing the context. If you've got a bigger screen, you've got more context around and less literally physical exercise getting to the place you need to get. So for that reason, I tend to favor the larger tablets. Probably the upper end then becomes ease of carrying around and weight. You can get some pretty large tablets that have been around for a while, and they're like bricks, so we don't necessarily want to go there. So that's an important consideration. And then in terms of the operating systems, there are 4 of them. We have BlackBerry, which is stable and business oriented, and works pretty well, but it has a couple of of glitches with some of the web-based applications. We have Android, which has more glitches and seems to have dramatically different performance between different versions of the Android system. So I'm a little bit leery of that. We have the Windows system. Windows has been around as a tablet system for quite a while. There are independent companies that manufacture Windows 7 tablets. I have one. It works pretty well. It suffers from what Windows does, which is using 4 times as much data to get to the same place as anyone else. And we have the Apple iOS, which still I think leads the pack. It does have a workaround. It won't attach files to most web-based applications. It will only attach photographs. And we talked about a workaround where you basically take the document you want, zoom into the piece you want, and then take a screenshot of that, and that becomes a photo, which is really a document that you attach. So none of them are perfect. I think that the BlackBerry system, if they can import the apparently excellent functionality of the new Z10 system into a hopefully larger playbook format, I think they'll have a real winner, especially with business, because there are still many businesses around that would dearly love to have all of their tablets in that environment. BIM, which is Building Information Modeling, is definitely latest, greatest. There's only a few big players in terms of software in that business. Ironically, at the office level, it's mostly, not entirely, but mostly PC based. But what we're finding is that the speed of tablets and smaller devices is accelerating so rapidly that we can already do basic BIM manipulation and identification in a tablet environment. Certainly in the Apple iOS environment. Some of the others are not quite there yet, and I don't know where RIM and Windows will be. We'll find out soon enough, but it's moving so quickly. 6 months ago, we did some experiments in our office with the last generation of iPad and with the last generation of BIM software, and they were a dismal failure. Just couldn't do anything. And now we're able to manipulate simple models quickly in real time, so I look at that and I figure within a year or two we'll be able to not necessarily build a BIM model on a tablet, but explore it and annotate it pretty extensively. And I think that in terms of the overall environment, if you're in the field, such as a superintendent, project manager, many other people, consultants who do work in the field, I think that now you can do all of your work on a tablet in the field. I think pretty soon you'll be able to do all of your work on a tablet, period.